At the moment, Telegram has around 800 monthly active users, which is around 200 weekly active users. And as you know, OpenAI and ChatGPT also have around 100 to 150 weekly active users.
And we have about 100 million weekly active users now on ChatGPT.
And I didn't understand why it didn't make sense for me to combine both the technology and make sure that you will get the both of both worlds. And it's super easy, intuitive, and nice to integrate. So let's see how I do it. So here we have a very simple structure of the files. We have environment, gitignore, bot.py, database setup.py, requirements.txt, and user database. Don't worry about user database. Don't worry about environment and gitignore. This is not useful for you. You can just hard code it for now because it's not really important. What is important is have to Elite GPT, which is basically a way for you to set up your virtual environment in Python. You can easily do it. It's not that hard. You can Google it. The second thing is requirements. Here we have all the requirements that I need in order to make it work. Maybe some of them are not as useful and probably we can get rid of them, but this is the basic requirements that we have. So next thing is we have bot.py. Let's go through database setup.py, which is the main way. First of all, it's super easy to do. You need to say cursor execute and you create a table that is not existed. You authenticate the users, which is the user ID is an integer and primary key. That's it. You just need to have SQLite installed. You have to connect to it, enable cursor, execute this SQL query to create the database, and then you commit and close. Don't worry about creating the table for conversation user branches. We'll work through it in the next video. The next thing is setting up your bot.py. This is the main file, the brain of the actual bot. You don't really need to worry about the database if you're just using for yourself, but if you're using for other users, you have to set it up for the users as well. Here we have an import of SQLite, import of a logging function that you can use if you want to log some basic things. For example, I had it set it up SQTime, name, levels name, message, and level. And you also get the get logger name. You make sure that every second there is something happening on a Telegram bot, that you go into the database, you check what exactly is happening, and the logger just prints it out. I'm not gonna uncomment it because I don't want you to see the actual API key, so I won't display it. Next thing is we have the Telegram, which is basically one of the packages, pip packages that you can use in order to work with this, and we do pip install. As you can see here, we have Python Telegram bot. So here we have Python Telegram 20.7, which is very important. It has to be above 20 because otherwise you will not be able to run the special command that I'm doing at the bottom. It will error for you and you cannot do the application builder if it's below that. So make sure that it is application builder and it's above 20.7. It's important because later I will tell you that you will not be able to auto-update the actual messages in Telegram. So this is the imports that we're going to use. We're going to use update, application builder, commander handler, message handler, context type, and filters. We're also importing the OpenAI library that we have also can see in our requirements. It is 1.50. And we're having .env. This is basically a way to load environment variables for us to not dox it and not let other people know. We import OS to work with the files in our folders, asyncio to work with the basically async information handling, and we also import threading. To be honest, here you don't need to use asyncio and threading because one of the ways to go through it is to use the application builder that is available in the new version of the Python library, and you can use it later if you have a million of people using your bot. But for now, it doesn't really matter. We load the .env, we get the bot key of the file, we also get the OpenAI API key, and here, when you uncomment it, we also have the logging function that enables you to see what exactly is going on. Next thing is we have the start function. This is basically one of the ways for user to know that the bot is working and everything is working correctly. We do welcome, use register to start, a basic function for you to be able to use your bot and for people to know what to do exactly. We're doing the use that register in order to make sure that we're doing everything correctly. Here we just guide the user to what exactly he has to do. which is not that hard. We're not doing any password, we're not doing anything. Anyone who finds the bot and types /register can use the bot. This is the general intention we have at the moment. This is a basic register function that you can change requiring the code or requiring something like that, which basically has a functioning of checking that the command /register is used, and we execute. We either check if there is a user ID with authenticated users, where user ID is equal to the user ID that we have in the Telegram right now. This is very important because we don't want people to have registered a couple of times or twice or 3 times. Then we have the data. We say you already registered, or user tried to register but is already registered in the logger, which is very important. Also, if, for example, you do not find someone who is like that, then we commit the message and we register the user there in the database. Very straightforward SQL way to execute. Insert into authenticated user, user ID, where value is user ID. Super basic. If there is an exception, we throw an error, where error is in register command, user ID is basically throwing some error. And we close the database. Next things first, we're gonna go through GTP integration. This is very, very important. The way we work with GPT and ChatGPT is we connect to it through client. We have async OpenAI. The reason why we're using async OpenAI instead of just OpenAI is because we do not want the user to be, and the bot, to stop working until he gets a request. Async allows us to use the bot at any times. The async OpenAI requires the API key, which is os.getEnvironment OpenAI key, and we try to get the chat completion of the message. The way we do it is we connect through client to the chat completions create. We insert the message where the row of the message is to be talking to the user, and we have the content to be a user message. User message, we insert it into GPT interaction, and it's very important to have it here because that way it will allow us in the future to extend this to be the same as it was in ChatGPT with having general context windows instead of just relying on one simple message for you to work with. Next thing first, we specify the GPT-4 1110 preview, which is basically the GPT Turbo. Let me put it here, GPT-4 Turbo, which is a very important model that is very fast-paced, very easy to use, and it's just very general. It's great. It's the latest and the best model that they have right now at OpenAI. Then we have the chat completion, .choices.0, message content. This is the way OpenAI works with its actual messages. As you can see here, you can see that there are basically a couple ways to work with the messages. You send to it some of the files. So for example, this is the row of the system and user and content. And we have the response of ID, object, created, model, system, choices, log props, finish reason, and usage. What we're doing is we're going through, as you can see here, we're going through chat completion, choices, 0, message, content. Let's go again. Choices, 0, as you can see, this is the file, message, content. And this is the answer that you'll get. So basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be following this and trying to get the message that it receives. If there is an exception, we throw the GPT-4 interaction message and return to the user, sorry, I couldn't process that message. Next thing first, we have handle message. So this is the way that we get the message from the user in order to work with ChatGPT. Because in order to work for the ChatGPT, it has to have the user message here passed in. So we have a handle message. We check that the user ID is the user ID that we have in a database, and it exists, that it's not just a random user, it has registered, it has agreed to terms of service and stuff. We can say that, okay, cursor execute, try, does he exist, this user? If he doesn't, else, we need to say, please register using register. If there is an error, we throw an error. If, for example, the user exists, he is registered, right? If in the future, for example, you want this to be paid or something like that, or maybe only specific users should use it, you should use you will get this GPT response equals await GPT interaction user message. We basically pass the user message to the ChatGPT, and we send back to it update message reply text GPT response. Basically what we're getting is that we're updating the message in the file, in the Telegram. You will see a little bit later how it works. Then logger info, handle message for authenticated users, user ID, and that's it. We close the connection. That's it. The last thing. We have if name equals main. We have application builder dot token bot key dot build. The token bot key is the bot key that we get from the BotFather. You'll see in the future how we'll use it, but this is the main thing we need in order for application to be even working. The second thing we need to have in application is run polling. This makes sure that it doesn't just work for 1 second, it works until we stop it. This is very important because otherwise the application will not run continuously. When we just keep on adding handlers, command handler start, command handler register, these commands that we will not go through in this session, will go in the next video, and the filter that we use in order to make sure that the message of the text is passed to the ChatGPT. We say application at handler, message handler, filter.text, filter command, handle message. Basically this way we're allowing, as you can see here, it's command handler to have message handler that just deals with the messages, filters it, it's not rubbish, and accelerates and uses the commands. This is very, very important. And that's it. Let's see how the bot works. So here you can see we have a couple of things. First of all, let's go to BotFather. This is the BotFather. You know that it is because it has the icon. This means that verified account. Here it's the same usual bot. It has a lot of different things. You can use new bot, my bots, set name, description, and stuff like that. You can also just use different types of commands to play with it, check what it is, maybe start some web apps, some games, and just in general explore your way around it. What we're looking for is one of the bots that is on the different actual account, and here we press start, as if we're interacting with, nothing happens. Why? Because we haven't run the application. Let's go back to our VS Code. So here we are. Let's first of all explain how you do it. So it's very easy to run this command. Because we have if name equals main, we can do the following. Python dot space bot.py, and we run the actual thing. Okay, now that we have the bot started, we can do the following. We can do /start, and we have a welcome, use register to start. If we try to something, please register, right? So it's trying to process the message. It sees that we're not in a database. We need to do it. You can also, in the BotFather, do the following. There's set commands change, which basically allows you to set these suggestions, which basically allows you to see what does every command do. So we do register. Okay, we registered successful. Now let's try talking to GPT. Let's say, okay, what date is it today? Let's see, the function is working asynchronously in the background, and we have a response. Okay, so basically it's telling us, as an AI, I don't have real-time capabilities. I can't provide the current date. However, you can easily check the date by looking at calendar. Okay, basic GPT things. Let's say, what GPT model are you? Let's see what it says. And it has an answer. I am an AI language model created by OpenAI, designed in a way that doesn't link to a specific version of a GPT. Model like GPT-3 or its predecessors, where I can provide information and perform tasks in a manner similar to GPT-3. I've been trained with a vast dataset that includes a diverse range of... Okay. Let's ask last thing, just to make sure that it's a real model that we're using. What model are you? What is your cut-off date of knowledge? Just to make sure this is GPT-4 Turbo, and if we're using something like old GPT-2, GPT-3, or GPT 3.5. Okay, I'm an instance of OpenAI language model. My response is generated based on the model I was trained on, which includes data up to my knowledge cutoff date. As of the last update to the particular instance, my knowledge is current up to 2023. Wow! However, please be aware that I don't have the ability to know or track the exact version of the model or access any new information post-cutoff. Perfect. we're using the right thing. So yeah, this was the way to create your ChatGPT integration with Telegram, to create your own bot. You can do anything to it. You can even add image generation if you want. So yeah, we're gonna come back to way to host this. We will come back to the way to actually do the listings of the topics and different branches of conversation in the next videos. Maybe also check out my other video where I talk how do you actually make a Telegram bot that handles files and you can send the files to share with other people and to share generally. So I hope you like this video and I hope you find it useful. Go tinker with GPT, go tinker with Telegram. It's a great technology that you can use to yourself. And subscribe and comment if you like this video and tell me what exactly I can improve. So thank you.